Hey everyone, it's Robin, RS Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This year has been flying by. We are now in the month of April, and the month of April for me is going to be all about scrap fabric. Doing quick little projects that uses up our scraps. Check down below in the description box. I'm going to put a few of my previous videos where I discuss scrap fabrics, how to process them and sort them. One of my favorite things to work with is fabric scraps. I enjoy taking leftover bits of fabrics from previous projects or ones that my peeps happen to share with me and just turn them into something new. Now, scraps are going to be something different for everyone. For me, I will go down to the tiniest scraps. I love working with bright fabrics, so I have these batik scraps that I'm saving to make some fabric postcards. I generally go down to about 1.5 inches. I find that is useful for some smaller projects, but some people only use things that go down to maybe about 5 inches. So what you save in scraps is going to be personal based on what type of projects you enjoy making. I'm showing you this wall because I call this my rainbow wall, and this is how I sort my scraps. I'll go ahead and link to the video where I discuss these bins where I purchase them from. I get the larger ones are from Walmart, and the shorter ones over here are from Target. And that's just based on price. You can get them both from the same place. I call them rainbow colors, but I include pinks and aquas and grays and whites. And that's just how I sort mine. I look at my fabric as a living thing. It's constantly growing and changing. What I'm doing now is similar to what I did 5 years ago, but it's more concise because I'm paying attention to what I make and I'm saving fabrics based on what I make. It's also been really helpful for purchasing fabric so that I purchase fabrics that I'm going to use. This is a sewing machine mat that I made for myself using leftover scraps from a Scrappy log cabin quilt that we worked on here on the channel. And this is the second version that I'm working on to put into my shop. I just need to go ahead and hand sew down the binding and this will be ready to go into the shop. When talking about scrap fabrics, you do not have to save the super tiny bits. If this isn't something you're going to work with, then feel comfortable and know that it's okay to pass it on to a friend or just go ahead and toss it. I don't save all of my small bits like this, but I do save my bright colored batiks because they're my favorite. Having them sorted in a system that works for me makes it so much easier when I'm ready to be creative. I can just go to my scraps, pull out what I need, and then go ahead and create what I want. I used to keep my scraps like in a laundry basket, and I would have to constantly dig through the laundry basket to look for that piece of yellow fabric that I knew I had that would be perfect for this project. But by keeping everything separate and neat like this, I can just go to my rainbow wall, find what I'm looking for. Maybe I just know I need a yellow fabric, but I don't know exactly which one I need as I'm going through. And I do go through this neatly. Everything is a work in progress, and I've been going through each of my colors slowly, getting them organized. I like to keep them ironed, and I like to have fabric that has straightish edges. You can see in my scrap bins that I don't have all of these weird pieces because I find when I'm working with scraps, I do a lot of quilt as you go and it tends to end up being like a log cabin situation. So I like to have things that have not squared up edges, but straight edges. Like this one isn't perfectly straight. It has a little bit of a curve to it, but that's going to work for my projects. I found that by knowing what I make, it makes it a lot easier to decide if it's something that I'm going to save or something that needs to get tossed or passed down to someone else. So maybe I'm going through and I'm looking for a glittery, shiny ladybug fabric. So I have it right there. It makes it a lot easier to find. I found so many fun fabrics that I didn't know I had. As you can see, it is a work in progress. This piece here, I would normally trim it down and decide what I'm going to do with the leftover pieces. So not everything is perfect. And it's not all kept together, but it's all in the yellow bin. So when I need it, I can find it a lot easier. Guess I have a lot of this ladybug fabric. Might be time to do a ladybug project. So even when I'm going through and I'm looking for things, I'm not going to, more ladybugs, I'm not going to just dump it all out on my table. I want to still keep it reasonably neat so that the next time I go through and I use it, then it'll be organized and it won't be too much of a mess. Now, not every system is perfect, and that's why I call mine like a living thing. It grows and changes as I go. So I always suggest to think about what you are going to make, the things that you make the most, and build your scrap system around them. Start with the things that you have on hand in your home. Maybe you can find some containers, maybe you have some empty boxes. Whatever you already have, start sorting things that way, and then when you know exactly what you're going to need, you can go to the store and pick up things that are going to work for you. I use these containers because I already own them, and I use those for projects that I'm working on and to just have fabric in that needs to be sorted. And then I like to use these clear ones because I can see how much fabric is in there. So if my yellow scraps are starting to get down low, then I know when I start looking at purchasing maybe fat quarters or charm packs or something, that I need to go ahead and start bumping up my yellow scraps. And when my container gets to be too full, then I know I need to start working on a green project or using more green in my projects to go ahead and use up more of these scraps. This is what a container looks like when I haven't sorted through it. I haven't gone through and made sure everything's nice and neat, make sure everything is of an equal size, in meaning that it doesn't have any weird angles, to sort out the smaller pieces like this to put it in its own green bin. At the end of the day, when I'm a little bit tired and I don't have the brain power to actually work on a project anymore, that's when I pull out bins like this and I iron them and I sort them and I just go through that process. I don't make a big pile on the table. I learned that lesson because I get burnt out halfway through it and then it just goes back into the laundry basket and I don't sort through it. I've been training myself that as I'm working on a project, when I have a leftover piece of fabric, I go ahead and trim it so that it has these straightish edges to it, and then I sort it into the bins. So I have rainbow bins that makes it really easy. But I got stuck on the novelty type fabrics that didn't actually go into a specific colorway. Now you will see some greens and purples and pinks in here, but I kept these in here for a specific reason because I wanted to keep those together. But now that this is full, I will go through it and I'll start pulling out the different colors and sort them into their categories. I needed to make sure I had a place that I could just put things, and I put them in here neatly. And then when I have time, I can go back and sort it. But as I'm working through the project, if I have the small pieces that I know I can sort right into a color, then I'll go ahead and put those away right away. I just make little stacks next to me on the table as I'm cleaning things up so that I can go and just file them away on the shelf behind me. I keep my rainbow bins in the same room and really close to where I'm sewing, so they're right behind me. That way I can easily go through and shop my scraps and pull out fabrics that I want to use versus going to my other shelves where I keep my yardage. I'd much rather use up some scraps, and I love the scrappy look anyway, than going through and constantly purchasing more and more yardage. Scraps are easier to store for me. They take up less space, and this way I have a variety of colors. I just don't have 4 purple fabrics. I have 40 purple fabrics. This is where I store my quilting clips. I'll add the video down below in the description box for this little fabric bin. But I have more clips that I want to be able to keep in the bin and keep out here on my sewing table. Now this is a great container. This is just a pencil box that I picked up online at Walmart. but it's not large enough to store my clips. Plus, I like something with an open area, not having to close a lid. When I'm doing bulk sewing, I can empty this container out easily and empty this one also. So I'd like to make myself a little bit of a larger container that I can still keep here on my table, and that I can have them all available for me so that I can just grab and go. And then when I'm done, I can just toss them back in. On next week's tutorial, we're going to go ahead and make a Scrappy fabric bin like this. I'm going to use mine to store my quilting clips, but you can make yours to store anything or to put in any room. You can make them in various sizes, but I'm going to figure out the size that I might want to make, and I'm just going to show you guys how I make it. I will be using the various scrap fabrics that I already have on hand, but you can use just a fat quarter if that's what you'd like. So I hope you're able to join me next week to make a Scrappy fabric bin. Throughout April, we're going to be working on various Scrappy projects, starting with the fabric bin, and during the 2 live streams on the 1st and 3rd Saturday of the month at 1 p.m. Arizona time, I'm also going to be working on Scrappy projects live with you. If you enjoy relaxed sewing videos like this and lots of scrap-friendly projects, you might enjoy this channel. You're always welcome to subscribe and sew along with us. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.